Hi, I skip intros, and this is Weekly Watching, where I talk about what I watched and read this week. I feel like that name was self-explanatory enough, where I don't need to explain that, but at the same time, I still want to. So this week, I watched and read a couple things, so let's just get right into it. Ghost Stories dub was really funny, and if you know about Ghost Stories dub, that sentence might seem a little obvious to you, but for those that don't know about Ghost Stories dub, here's a story. So basically, I actually have no idea what year the dub came out, but what happened was, Ghost Stories was this semi-popular anime from Japan. The show revolves around these Japanese monsters, also known as yokai, but the entire premise of the plot revolved around knowledge, or previous knowledge of these yokai, which I don't know if you know this, but Americans don't really care that much about Japanese culture. What happens is that this anime company that made Ghost Stories is all, we want a dub, but this won't sell in its current state because this is too strange and not popular for an American audience. So, how about you guys just do whatever you want? This dub has had clips that were extremely popular that went around TikTok and I think YouTube a few years ago, and it's kind of died down now, but I've never actually seen the show itself. I've only ever seen the clips, and I wanted to watch the show. The whole 19/20 episodes, depending on how you want to look at it, and it is so phenomenal. I'm going to show a couple clips in a second, but oh my god.
Oh, sorry all you little yellow people look alike to me.
Drop the Krispy Kreme, Serpico! We need your help
You do
here!
my house look like my father and my brother after 9 months or something?
The number you've dialed is no longer in service. Hey, maybe if they paid their f***ing phone bill, you could call again.
Asian trash.
But I do notice something else. Black men have larger penises than either Asians or Mexicans do.
You see, kids, the boy bunny has a thing called a penis, and he puts that into the girl bunny's vagina.
Looks like it's you and me, Raggedy Ann. Call me Barbie! Okay, fine. Looks like it's you and me, Barbie. I'm going f***ing crazy.
It's so absurd just how much they got away with, and I don't think it was ever that popular, but it is now. Now, when you watch these clips, you need to understand one thing that is super important, and that is that this girl was so beautiful and popular. She was so popular. The unironic enjoyment that I got watching this completely dated, absurdly offensive piece of work was honestly so much more than recent popular anime from the past couple of years. They even reference some very popular girls in the form of just random actor naming from time to time.
Maybe I hit Kate Moss.
Remember when Christian Slater had a career? Hope Stephen King never sees this.
It's kind of weird. 70 out of 100. Did I tell you that she was really popular? I was popular! So in honor of the Fire Force manga ending next week, I'm inevitably going to binge the entire series, probably in the span of like 2 days, given my pace, but I decided to watch the entirety of the first season, which I didn't know was 24 episodes, but it was 24 episodes. I also didn't know that a season 2 already came out. I don't know. Honestly, throughout the entire show, I kind of just felt bad for Tamaki because she gets put through so much nonsense throughout the course of it. There was that whole point where the writer just continues stripping her as a joke. She's not that strong. She's honestly really weak. Her screen time just constantly gets reduced throughout the series, and her brain is this small. It's tiny, tiny, tiny brain, and she doesn't really have that much of a purpose in the show, honestly. But I still love her very, very much. The reason for this is just because she's a stupid tsundere and fills the archetype so well, and also she's very very cool. Like, going off that topic, most of the females in general in the show are kind of just some weird fan service kink. So you have something for the masochists, something for muscle lovers, something for nuns, which is kind of weird, and then there's even something for the sick, twisted criminals or Persona 5 fans. Plus, there's also like 2 separate instances of the main character rescuing barely clothed girls before the 13th episode. Before the 10th episode, like that. Author, what are you doing? why are you doing this? Otherwise, the entire series is fine. The fire effects are really nice, and then the sound effects are good. I really liked how you can tell how powerful someone is just based off how shiny their eyes are. That was a neat detail. Episode 22 was pretty good. David Production does a really good job with the audio and the visuals, and honestly, the only thing that's really holding it back is very questionable plot. 65 out of 100. Good looks make up for subpar writing sometimes. Who knew? Just want to throw it out there though. I loved that first intro so much. Good song. Good song. This is the last one. I just want to talk about Rent a Girlfriend chapter 218. I usually talk about these things in a super broad vernacular, so I mean, you won't really understand it, but at the same time, I'm not really going to spoil anything for you either. I'm not going to show any screenshots though, because frankly, they're very concerning. Like, oh my goodness, I'm so confused as to how this got published. I don't know how to explain this. It's so bad. Because when you think about it, that means that the author came up with this idea, yeah. Which, I mean, that more tells you about his mental state than anything else. And then that had to have gone through his assistants, who does like the backgrounds, the screen tones and stuff. So they read this and were like, yeah, this is pretty alright. And then it went through his editor, the person who had to approve this chapter, because they usually have like meetings where they read it beforehand, which means the editor approved of this. And then there's so many levels to it that make me wonder, just did no one question what the heck they were doing here? I don't understand. But I'm so glad that it exists, because it became famous for all the wrong reasons. The Japanese Twitter sphere redrawing that one page was so funny to me. My favorite one is one with Komi as Kazuya, Tadano, I forgot how to say his name, as Chizuru, and Osana as the Beret Man. Honestly, the most positive thing that we got out of this chapter is the memes. I think this entire situation is just so incredibly funny because of the sheer absurdity of it all. If you aren't caught up with the Rent a Girlfriend manga, did I ever say the name? I don't know. If you ever want to catch up to the Rent a Girlfriend manga, this current arc is so bad. It's so bad. Currently, I would give it like a 6 out of 10. It peaked like a year ago, which is a long time. And that's all from me.
Did I tell you she was really popular?